Well, howdy, y'all. Rude Ronnie Davy, the happiness lady. That's right. It's another happy hump day. That's what we call it in the States. Why do they call me the happiness lady? Well, some of y'all know, some of y'all don't know. Because I even wrote a book about it. Choosing happiness, an uncommon way to find joy. There it is in your life. That's me. That's also me with curly hair. So, what did I want to? An angel got its wings. What did I want to talk about today? I love glasses like this. I can just magically, right? This is what I wanted to talk about because it's something I'm so freaking passionate about. And it's this thing about our voice. I mean, I recently was talking to somebody. Well, they weren't talking because they had lost their voice. And, and I was basically saying, so what is it that you're not willing to be with your voice in the world? Are you willing to be your voice in the world? What actually is that? And they were like, well, I don't even know how to find my voice. I've been so used to letting, I'm going to paraphrase it, have other people boss me around with, what they think I'm supposed to be doing or saying or being. And and I get it. I remember as a child, it was like, be seen, children to be seen and not heard, all the things, but, do you desire to have more confidence with who you are simply by being you, or do you even know who that is? Or do you have a tendency to shrink in front of others? So the question again is, are you willing to change that? Are you willing to be the voice in the world? Okay. And what actually is that for you? What is being your voice in the world? Not the voice of what this society tells you to be, not the voice of reason, which is an AI, in my opinion, artificial intelligence. It's where we're programmed to believe we're supposed to be, or we're programmed in a lot of ways. In my interesting point of view, get programmed by programming on TV. You wonder why they call it programming. We get programmed by commercials. You can be this if you're, like that. So, what is your voice? Well, ask yourself that question right now. Are you being you when you're being in the world? What are the problems? What's plaguing you to keep you from actually being whatever that is? Are you suffering in this reality because you don't know how you're supposed to be? Okay, well, I'm so passionate about this topic that I'm looking, into finding out what it is that you're truly looking for. So perhaps I can create a way to facilitate you out of it. I mean, who be it for me to be that person? How would I know how to do that? Well, I am a right voice facilitator, and right voice doesn't mean being the right voice for this reality. Right voice is actually being what works for you in the world with no apologies. Okay, so maybe that's one reason I could perhaps help facilitate you through this. Another might be because I don't have that bone in my body anymore anyway that makes me uncomfortable being who I am. I don't, I was going to use a dirty word, but I'm just going to say I don't give two flips what anybody thinks of me anymore. If I make them uncomfortable, well, sorry, not sorry, because I'm going to stop making me uncomfortable for being too much or not enough for others. And what if me being me and being willing to be me is the first step in the invitation for others to create that for themselves? And what could that look like? I'll give you an example. I was on a call. I'm part of an organization. Well, I buy into their program, the Green Door Life. I'm taking a little hiatus. I broke my hand hanging a wreath, which I wish I could tell a better story, like you should see the other guy. But that's not what happened. And I got really sick with a cold, and then it was a sinus infection, and then I got a stomach thing, and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm going to honor myself and step out of this program, for 1 month. That's honoring of me. That's the right thing for me. Okay. Whereas other people go, oh no, you'll never get back to it. When I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. But I digress. The point being, we were wrapping up. We had these Thursday calls, and we were wrapping up one of these segments that we had been doing. And we were talking about how we allow others to affect what we create in our lives. Like, this program is designed for you to dedicate yourself to a program that works for you. It's actually designed just for you. It's about eating appropriately for your body type, the right exercise for your body type, for what works for you around your schedule, the whole thing. And I love it. The two women that head this up, they're very, very knowledgeable. And Lisa and Shannon, shout out. And you can do as little or as much as you want with the program. I actually went the full Monty, did a 3-month challenge through a wonderful, wonderful coach, and basically learned what eating habits worked for me macrobiotically, which is far from micro, because I ate a lot more. I found out I wasn't eating enough, believe it or not. And it gave me more energy. I found out the type of exercise I needed, how much rest I needed. And you want to know something? It pissed some people off, because I was making time pour moi. I mean, basically putting it in my schedule for me. And I was willing to actually speak up instead of always being that person that wanted to please everybody else and say the right things. Now, I wasn't mean about it. I didn't say, F you, I'm going to do this program, dig it for me. It's not always about you. What I said was, hey, this is what I've got to do for me. If I'm going to be honest, this is what I've got to do for me, because I have actually, since I knew my mom and I was making her the problem. She's not the problem. It's a lot of work carrying this household and having, I'm her caregiver. She's aging right now, all the stuff, but I knew what I was taking on. But what I did is, instead of, including her and including myself, I disregarded myself the whole time. And I actually stopped speaking for myself. And what this program did is it allowed me to say, hey, lady, I love you, and I've got to do this. And she'd be like, do you have a minute? I'm like, no, I got to go work out. It's an online program. So I would go into the sunroom and lift my weights or whatever it was for an hour and have my shake and shower. And then I'd be like, okay, lady, what do you need? So I got better at scheduling around me, and I got better at speaking up and saying what works for me. So going back to where all this backstory is coming from, we had one of our calls, and what Shannon presented to us was, how are you guys doing with all of this, being able to speak up for yourselves? And I raised my little hand, and I'm like, well, my family had a bit of an issue watching me weighing my food, all the things, they're trying to get to the table and everything. They're waiting on me, and I'm like, go, I can say the prayers from here. I got a portion control, and I'm trying to make a joke about it, all the stuff. But the point was, I wasn't going to give up me, for everybody else, just to make them more comfortable. And that's kind of what being willing to be your voice is. That's more of an action, but being willing to be that voice. And so she was asking us about that. And I said, yeah, family had some issues with it. I think we finally worked around it. And then I choked up and said, actually, so funny. I'm going back to that point in my body. Whew, body, you're so cool. Okay. Deep breath, girl. It's okay. I stuck up for myself, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I said, you guys, I'm so proud of me, because I actually was willing to put me first. And this is what I've noticed, is when you put yourself first, you're able to be more there for other people, Feel me? So what if you actually stepping into your voice unapologetically, what if you actually being who you truly be, or what works for you, being vulnerable, being honest? And I don't mean honest in a way that is snarky or, is going to hurt someone else, because that's not at all what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being kind to yourself first. And to me, that's what easy for me to say, being willing to be your voice, regardless of whether people like it or not. And you can do it with kindness. You're kind to you first. And actually, to me, being kind to you first is a huge kindness to others instead of pretending to be something that you are not. Because I'll tell you this, I would rather, and that's the gift too, I would rather somebody be themselves, even if they're an asshole, than to be something else because they think that's what I want them to be. Hey, and you know what? And being your voice in the world sometimes is being the asshole. Sometimes that's what's going to create greater. Sometimes being the voice is no voice at all, shutting your pie hole, knowing when it's going to create, when it's not going to create. Because sometimes being your voice is not something other people can receive. And if you're okay with that piece also, like, hey, okay, this is how I feel. Okay, you don't feel the same way. All right, cool. That's cool. And don't take it personally. It's actually not anything that's personal. We're all individuals. We all have the right to have our own, I'll put it in quotes, belief systems. We're not all going to agree. I'm sure all y'all want everyone else telling you what to do, right? So why would you want to do that to others? So here's the thing. We have underneath here where you can put comments. Maybe you feel what I'm saying. Maybe one of the few things that I said actually speaks to you. Maybe none of it does. Hey, maybe you know someone that this could speak to, so maybe share this live with them. But I'd love to hear from you. I actually read all the comments. I'm one of those people. Let me know what it is that is keeping you from not necessarily being the voice, but being willing to be the voice. Excuse me, you truly being? Let me have some hot tea here. Let me know what it is for you that has been your hurdle or your struggle and what you would like to see for yourself. And, I'd love to have a conversation about that on a live. Or maybe you come on the live with me and we have that conversation. Maybe I can do a one-on-one with you. Or, cool, if there's a lot of you that are feeling this way and you would like to actually be bigger, step up, be all of you, be the greatness of who you are. Because lean into this energy for a minute. How many times do you find, this is not an ego thing, this is just, well, feel me here. How many times are you the greatest in the room but not as great as you? For whatever reason, you don't want to hurt other people's feelings. You want to respect your elders, your parents, or colleagues, or whatever it is. And you think you diminishing you is going to create that energy. And what if actually you being willing to step up is what they need to perceive from you? So, because you treat people how to treat you, in my point of view, or it gives them that opportunity to be that as well. Because getting back to that piece where I became vulnerable in our little Thursday recoup coaching group that we were doing, like 90 minutes on Thursdays, I got a couple of private messages from people saying, wow, because you were so willing to be so vulnerable. And I have a tendency, my body has a tendency to cry, y'all. I'm not sure what it's about, because I'm not necessarily sad when I cry. It's almost like my body's acknowledging me, right? Because I'm actually willing to be there for me. I'm willing to have my own back. Because I was willing to be my voice is the point. There were others that were actually willing to be vulnerable and to feel safe in that group as well. And here's the thing, when I've got my own back, even if I'm being persecuted or darts being shot at me, because I know some people listening to this now or in the future are probably going, lady, you know what? When I have my own back, I'm in that space of what I don't really care. I don't really care if this works for you or not. And that's actually a kindness, because I'm not trying to shove it down your throat. I'm allowing you to choose for you. And I'm proud of me for that. That's so weird. Here I'm acknowledging myself and my body gets all, yes, body, I know. You're so good to me. Bodies are smart, y'all. Mine's a lot smarter than I am. It's always showing me the way. So if this speaks to you, I don't know, hit the subscribe button. Please comment. Please let me know what it is that you would, what your thing is, what's keeping you stuck. Let's talk about it. And maybe we can co-create something that could speak to others and be the invitation for them being willing to step up or find or at least explore what their voice in the world could be. What if you being the voice that you truly be was exactly what others required, so they knew they could choose that for themselves? So that's all I got to say for now, I think. I think that's plenty. That's right. So this is a Happiness Lady signing off for Hump Day Wednesday. And until next time, ciao, 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 y'all. Thank you.